Good morning, everyone. This is Anju Sehgal from India. I'm going to present my paper in this session of ethnobiology and therapeutics and cosmetics. My topic is Magic of Drugs Formulated by Traditional Healers, a real-life indigenous story. Few traditional healers are shown in the first pic. Presentation will be divided into the following heads: introduction to the study area, case study of the treatment done by the herbal healer, few herbal plants used by indigenous people for COVID-19 cure, biochemical analysis of ethnobotanically important edible fruits and fodder plants of Hamirpur. This picture shows the area to which I belong. This is the map of India. Inside India, Himachal Pradesh, my state, and in Himachal Pradesh is Hamirpur district, which is bounded by 4 other districts: Kangra, Mandi, Bilaspur, and Una. Few amazing facts about Hamirpur. District was formed in 1972, and King Hamir Chand ruled it from 1700 to 1740. That is why it was named as Hamirpur. Most of the residents are Hindus, few are Muslims. Family system, which bars girls and boys from marrying outside certain clans, is prevalent. Hamirpur is a hilly area covered by Shivalik range. Elevation varies from 400 meters to 1250 meters. Majority of the people serve in defense. That is why the land is also called as land of brave people. Agriculture is the principal means of livelihood. Industries are few. The highest peak is in Hamirpur is Avadevi Peak, which is around 1250 meters. The district has a population density of 407 inhabitants per square kilometer. District also has beautiful monuments, palaces of Tira Sujanpur Fort, made in 1748 AD. Area is mountainous and it is a rich repository of medicinal and aromatic herbs. Hamirpur has temperate climate. The maximum temperature goes to 42 degrees C, minimum is 4 degrees C. Population of Hamirpur is around 0.518 million. The first picture shows a reservoir of water, which in Hindi is called as Tar. This is the village of that herbal healer, Shri Rumi, whose story is the focus of the paper. Then village furnace is shown in the second picture, and the main cooking source is cow dung or fuel wood. The natural water resource is shown in the third picture. The traditional healers are doing great job in today's era by extending a big hand to physicians and curing ailments by way of medicinal plants. The rare knowledge which they have acquired through their forefathers need to be documented and brought forward in order to contribute to the ethnobotanical world. The healing of the knee pain through plant fumigation and applying the salt-based extract and plant parts is the main focus of the paper. Paper also intends to help elderly people by highlighting home remedies. The remotest tribes, Aboriginals, still rely on the most cheapest cure of ethnomedicines and natural therapy for easy and quick recovery. An insight into the village healers gave astonishing result. A person on bed healed to the extent that he started flying a plane. An interview with squadron leader Deepak Sharma gave an eye-opening results of ethnobotanical exploration and herbal healing done by village populace. Additional ethnobotanical knowledge is built by a group of people through generations living in close contact with the nature. This knowledge is important for conservation and utilization of biological resources. Conservation should be carried out before such rich heritage is lost forever. These are few communities of Himachal Pradesh which have a great contribution and significance in protection of ecosystem and bioresources. The treatment of knee swelling, sprain, and ligament rupture was done by the herbal healer in 3 different doses. The first morning dose was called as the breakfast dose. The massage was given with cow's butter oil for half an hour. Black rock salt with few herbal paste applied on the affected part. Crepe bandage was heated and then tied for 2 hours. These are the things which were used in the first dose. Then in the second dose, lunch dose, steam is given with heated jaggery fumes. 1 heated brick is used for giving solace to the swollen and sprained knee, followed by hot water fermentation and with black rock salt in it. Cuscuta plant was boiled in water. The decoction was then used for hot water fumigation. These are the things: rock salt, turmeric, and jaggery, which was used. The third dose was called as the dinner dose. The plant exudates of mastic plant, tears of chios, was grinded in sesame oil. It is applied with black rock salt and turmeric powder overnight with crepe bandage to keep knee warm. The cinnamon extract or paste is used in the affected part. All above doses were continuously applied for 1 month. Wonder results seen with full recovery of knee swelling and ligament rupture and pain. Cinnamon powder, sesame oil, Cuscuta plant is shown in this picture. Similarly, Pistacia lentiscus plant is shown with gums or raisins. The plant Politis was also made out of Erythoda vasica. It was used in hot water fermentation. Politis of 50 grams of dried leaves of Erythoda along with Withania somnifera and Myristica fragrans, Syzygium aromaticum, was used in mustard oil, and it is considered good for massage in rheumatic pains, ligament tear, and arthritis. Few medicinal plants are used by herbal healers for COVID-19 cure. And every household in India is using all these plants these days for home remedies of COVID-19. Erythoda vasica, that is the Malabar nut, its decoction of leaves along with Punica granatum and Ecorus calamus was given twice daily for a week for cough, cold, and asthma. 1/4 glass of decoction of this plant along with Viola and Ocimum and Elateria and Glycyrrhiza glabra and a pinch of black salt given twice a day for cure of bad throat, cough, and cold. Glycyrrhiza glabra roots are used for making decoction with the help of Elateria and Viola, Syzygium, and it was given for cold, bronchitis, sore throat, chest congestion, and fever. Roots are sucked for quick relief from tonsillitis. Foeniculum vulgare, that is phenol, is used in large quantities these days. 25 to 40 ml of its hot decoction mixed with Viola, Glycyrrhiza, Ocimum plant considered good for cough, cold, and fever. Water boiled with Foeniculum decoction is used for COVID cure. The mild patients are made to drink this water for the entire day. Cinnamomum tambala, that is the bay leaves, are used for making decoction with the help of Glycyrrhiza, Piper nigrum, and Anethum soa. It is given once or twice a day or thrice a day, daily for 5 days for asthma, bronchitis, cold, cough, and as treatment for sore throat in COVID-19. Citrus medica, that is lemon, is used largely these days by every household in order to make lemonade. This lemonade is given to each and every member of the family in order to increase the immunity and vitamin C content. Curcuma domestica, that is turmeric, is used for increasing the immunity as well as for cure of internal injuries. Elateria cardamomum, decoction of its fruits along with Viola, Glycyrrhiza, and gingiber, and cinnamomum was used for cough, cold, and throat infection and given for COVID-19 cure also. Ocimum sanctum is largely used these days as green tea and as well as for decoction of the plant for checking the cough, cold, and fever during this pandemic. Viola canescens 30 to 50 ml of decoction of the plant and flower is used as wonderful remedy for cough, cold, and fever. 1/4 glass decoction of its plant, along with that of Ocimum sanctum, Glycyrrhiza glabra, and pinch of black salt, given twice a day for asthma and cure for coronavirus. Gingiber officinale, 1 teaspoon of the rhizome juice prescribed with honey and pepper twice a day till cure for cough and asthma. 500 ml decoction of the dried rhizome with Viola, Elateria, Ocimum, cinnamomum, and cloves and Glycyrrhiza, along with Ferula foetida, is given thrice a day for cure of corona. Some of the plants were also analyzed phytochemically as to know why these plants are being used as wild fruits or fodder by the indigenous people of Hamirpur. 2 plants, Ziziphus jujuba, wild fruits, and Bambusa nutans were analyzed phytochemically in order to know their nutrient contents. And it was found that Ziziphus jujuba contains carbohydrates, total sugars, potassium, fiber, and iron, calcium, and phosphorus. Similarly, The Bambusa nutans, the gums obtained from this plant, was found rich in calcium, magnesium, and iron. That is why it is being given to the ladies after delivery. This is the nutritional content table of Digifus jujuba, wild fruits, and the gum obtained from bamboo plant. And 2 fodder plants were also analyzed phytochemically, why they are being given to the cattle as fodder, Digifus jujuba leaves and Grevia oppositifolia. It was found that Digifus jujuba leaves were rich in carbohydrate and protein. Similarly, Grevia oppositifolia was rich source of protein and carbohydrate. So much of the accumulated extraordinary abundant knowledge of the plant acquired due to long-term practices and handed down usually orally from one generation to another, now becoming extinct because of the loss of their main culture and changes in sustenance economy. With the disappearance of indigenous culture, biodiversity is disappearing and the loss is beyond retrieval. Need of the hour is to give priorities to activities related to documenting of this knowledge before it is lost forever to posterity. Undeniably, the rural inhabitants of a district have good knowledge about the bioresources in their area and are using these resources very carefully to ensure year-round supply of the food, fuel, fodder, medicine to them and their cattle. Thank you very much. My grateful thanks to Squadron Leader Deepak Sharma for sharing his story of recovery. I also visited that village of Shri Romeji and tried to contact him, but unfortunately he's no more now. But previously, around 10-15 years back, I have interacted with him. He was really a source of cure for the village indigenous people. Thank you very much.